Hey, this is Matthew Harvey here with the 12 o'clock siren recording in the 360 Broadband Studios. On my left hand is James. I have 123 less friends than I did last week. Hartley.
We got some fragile folks out there right now. Everybody needs to take a step back, realize the internet's not real life, or maybe X might be real life.
X is real life, you say?
Well, considering that a lot of the newly elected president's actions, the conversations were formed on X that led to...
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, but dang, man, I'm down a lot of friends.
The digital town square?
Yeah, it is, man. It really is.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah. I'm just glad you didn't say something like James Roman salute Hartley.
No, sorry, don't throw that around.
No. People will take that and run with it.
The same people that call people Nazis are the ones that say, I don't throw the word love around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
You get that?
Well, the funny thing about
We're just starting off with Nazis here.
We are. Well, and it's only going to get worse.
Sorry, it is a week after the election.
This is day 5, right?
Day 5 or so. Not even a week.
The inauguration, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
The funny thing about the whole Nazi thing is they haven't seemed to learn. If everybody's a Nazi, no one's a Nazi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And keep saying it because obviously the popular vote says we're tired of that.
Well, I also don't cut up with Nazis at funerals.
Yeah.
I just don't make small talk with them.
Nah.
Or laugh at their jokes.
Or know any.
Or acknowledge them.
Yeah.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, I don't know any.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think I know any Nazis.
Yeah, I don't. Now,
it's a good question. I don't think anybody asked that. Do you know any Nazis? I don't. I saw the closest thing I've seen to Nazi behavior was probably, I think I may have discussed it on this podcast, was a Klan rally on the way to Canton in the mid to early 90s maybe.
Okay, that's a
mid
fair
90s
time.
probably.
Canton, Texas.
A little weird crossroads on 69 maybe.
Yeah.
Stop sign intersection, and it was
just Klan rally.
Klan rally.
Yeah, just a little hometown Klan rally.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
Yeah.
I may have imagined it. My parents can probably confirm.
May have just been painters in their white clothes,
That's true.
Yeah.
There was a Sherwin-Williams there, so... Oh, man.
Did you see the Carnival Cruise, or the Australian Cruise Line people?
No.
So, obviously, they have no cultural touch point on Nazis and clans and what they look like. Well, they came out dressed as upside-down snow cones.
Oh, yeah.
And people were like, what? And they had no idea, but they looked like the Klan.
Get out of here, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to go home. All you
I wonder what they would call the Klan as an Australian,
I don't know. But they'd be like, oh no,
the Dizwazzer Jalupal or something like that.
They'd have some strange name for it.
As we look at this kangaroo in front of us.
Where'd you get that? From the Macro podcast?
I did get it from the Macro podcast, a little podcast that I've picked up and produced for our friend Cassidy Jagger. I told her I'd talk about it on here right after we talked about Nazis for 5 minutes. Jeez. Sorry about the timing, but she does have a really cool podcast where she brings on veterinarians and all kinds of folks in the world of macropodidae. I'm learning a lot about it too.
Nice. Yeah.
She's doing some cool stuff. We've got 4 episodes out.
Not only are we topical, we're educational too.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to save the planet, as it says on the kangaroo stuffed animal in front of me.
That is a 12 O'Clock Sirens production podcast. So
it says reduce and eco.
Under the media empire that is the 12 O'Clock Siren.
but she did, Cassidy owns the Oddity Shop in Bonham, and was nice enough to bring a little stuffed animal to as a token of appreciation for the podcast. So, and we've also had her on the podcast here.
We named one of her.
And we named a wallaby.
A wallaby, yeah.
A wallaby. On the podcast, Waylon, I believe.
It was heads or tails, Waylon or Siren.
We need an update on that, probably.
He's probably grown now, right?
Should I text her on the show and see if she texts back?
We should.
Yeah, Waylon the wallaby was on the podcast.
So how are you feeling? Day 5 post inauguration.
I feel pretty good about things that have happened and things that are being done. I like the fact that first is the worst, is what I've heard, is the deportation.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
priority
Yeah.
schedule.
Let's get the killers out of here.
I like it better than the last administration, which was don't do anything
At all.
It seems, and just open it up.
Well, it's so funny, right? Like, because I knew we could round murderous immigrants up and, get them out of here. But after 4 years of nothing, seeing it done so quickly and efficiently, I'm like, why?
could have just done that the whole time.
The whole time. We could have just been doing that. Like,
Yeah.
just the criminals, not anything else. We could have just been getting killers out of here.
Yeah, which we don't want, right?
No, citizen or non.
Here's a question I had. I hope I didn't bring it up last time, but the Lake and Riley, I think the Lake and Riley trial has gone on since then, and the guy, the dude that was responsible, that got sentenced, if I'm not mistaken, he lived with 4 or 5 other young men
I believe so,
in an
yes.
apartment or something.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing, and are they here still?
Probably.
'Cause that's very important to me.
They should probably
Like, y'all were just hanging out with this dude, and
Yeah.
you're illegal?
Yeah.
Get out.
They should probably be on one of those C-17s.
Yeah.
Um.
Bound for...
So we were talking about this a little bit before we hit record, but what's interesting to me is I feel like the Democrats probably should have just let Trump go in 2020, maybe not even ran.
I'm glad they didn't.
I am too, because we're getting what we voted for in 2016.
We wouldn't know a lot of things
Yeah.
had he gotten elected again
No.
in a consecutive term, and I think a lot of it has come to light, and it's not a good look
Yeah.
for our once trusted government.
Yeah, and media institutions, and a lot of trust is gone, and I think that's everything from the center left to the far right.
Yep.
You go farther left, and it's whatever. But for the average American, regardless of politics, I think they're like, oh, like, I mean, we just found out, right? He declassified a bunch of documents with JFK and all that. The DOD, Operation Northwoods was long been a conspiracy where they were saying they were coming up with scenarios to create acts of terrorism here to, like, what's the word I'm looking for, to form a war against Cuba. And everybody's like, oh, okay, whatever. Turns out that's 100% true. It's not a conspiracy now. Like, our government was considering doing
the
that.
missile crisis and whatnot.
JFK rejected that and then was assassinated.
Right.
Yep. So, very.
Is there any further proof that the FBI was CIA was behind it?
I don't know yet. I think they're still parsing through everything. If I'm being a little bit honest, I'm kind of cynical that everything got released. I'm sure in the intervening time there's been shredders and burn pits and stuff where a lot of that gets.
Yeah.
But we'll see, I guess. I mean, they put some pretty controversial stuff out there about MLK. I was like, whoa, okay, and
I haven't had a chance to look yet.
No, we'll let people look that up on their own. I don't want to be out here talking about that, but it's pretty spicy stuff. So,
what was the document I think Scott shared with Donald Rumsfeld?
Oh, well,
give me some
layers and layers, right? So,
explain the document real quick if you can.
So, during the JFK administration, the American Zionist Organization, right? JFK wanted them listed as foreign agents, right? Which bars them from donating to American politicians. Okay.
Gotcha. Yep.
So they did that.
Standard.
Yeah, standard, right? They did that, and he was mad at Israel because Israel was lying to us about having a nuclear program of all stuff they stole from us. And so, again, they made them register as foreign agents. Kennedy was assassinated, and then the American Zionist Organization was replaced with what we now know as AIPAC, who is not registered as foreign, and they have given money to 90% of our politicians. And Donald Rumsfeld was a big supporter of the AZO and then AIPAC, and he was asking the politicians to say, "Hey, let's think about this." And he was very pro-Israel, which became the Donald Rumsfeld that the day before 9/11 happened was on the White House lawn saying we can't account for $1 trillion.
Right.
And then 9/11 happens right where they were doing the accounting for that, and Pentagon gets hit. It's just I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying, Like, there's some weird commonalities here.
Yeah, he's been in it for a long time, and
Yeah.
of course, I wasn't introduced to him until I started getting in.
Yeah.
Come to find out, he's been embedded,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
just like most of them, for a long
My
time.
biggest embarrassment, and I can write it off to being, 18, is my huge support for George W. Bush
Yeah,
and the war in Iraq.
Yeah.
As a young man, and it come to find out, both Afghanistan and Iraq has just been lies mostly.
disappointment
Yeah, just absolute.
from start to finish.
Yeah, just people, our friends and countrymen dying for nothing.
Taken advantage of.
Yeah. So, luckily, it seems that a lot of this stuff's coming out now.
Well, we have a president that is self-proclaimed anti-war.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't hear a whole lot. You hear about peace.
Yep.
I want peace, but you don't hear much about I don't want war.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think his first term, right? We've seen. So we're getting in 2025. We're getting what we voted for in 2016, but even in 2016, there were no new wars.
Right.
We were drawing down. Trump, whatever you want to think of him, is not a war hawk.
Which is the opposite of what everybody was telling us would happen.
Oh, would be World War III.
Yep.
Blah
Remember
blah blah. And we've been closer to World War III.
It's crazy how that rhetoric has gone away.
Yeah.
A lot of it has anyway. I mean,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
still the Hitler and Nazi part,
Yeah.
but
Every
like
time
all the
somebody
other-
says that, I just don't take them serious.
all the other things have just kind of gone away.
But anyway, I mean, he came out to play. They should have let him have 2020 because he had 4 years to regroup. He's more presidential now, less self-aggrandizing. That's not to say he is not self-aggrandizing.
And he gained your support.
He did. I never voted for the dude.
I was shocked because I know you to be a staunch libertarian and always voted your conscience
Yep.
in that regard.
Yep.
And he even pushed you too far.
So
I'm happy. I'm a libertarian just as much as you are, but I'm
I'm-
happy to vote for the guy who may or may not win.
So what I say now is I'm liberty-minded.
Right.
I now call the libertarians lolbertarians because their libertarian utopia is just as dumb as a socialist utopia. I love the ideas and the ideal behind it, but it's not real world.
Probably very fair.
Yeah, And so, like, while I'm still very much a small government person, you cannot have a high trust society with libertarian ideals until you have some law and order and a
Yep.
foundation of civilization. We used to be a high trust society. We are no longer.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's fair.
and I think that's where a lot of the Nazi stuff comes in, right? Because I say I'm not a multiculturalist. That doesn't mean I'm a white nationalist. I don't care the color. Culture's huge, though, right? Like, if you have a homogenous culture where everybody has the same idea and the same goal, I don't care what color you are, you're all going towards the same thing. Globalism and multiculturalism, like, some cultures just aren't equal. You have in Afghanistan, there is a large predominant culture of men who rape children. That culture's not equal, and it's not compliant with the West.
Right.
We don't like that.
You don't agree on the same things.
Yeah, and be that over there in the
Do that in Afghanistan.
Yeah, do that in Afghanistan, not
I'd
here.
rather not do it at all.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
but that's y'all's
We
business.
don't include that within our. We try not to anyway.
Absolutely, and
However, it seems to.
it does. I mean, people are people, right?
Yep.
But when the difference is our culture doesn't celebrate it.
Yep.
It should be in the shadows, and those people should face the wall when found out.
Yep. Yep.
So, on a lighter note than child rape,
Yeah, right.
back to the macropods now. I'm kidding.
Started with Nazis, ended with child rape.
Yeah,
Great.
man, this is a heavy one. No, but I do think I think things are going really well, and I'm interested to see once his Senate confirmations are done. Pam Bondi gets in. I think that's when we're really gonna light the fires
What do you
because
think
then he has an AG.
What do you think about Pete?
Okay, Pete's a hard one for me. He's
I would say is I'm an idiot
Sure,
as far as
sure.
this is concerned. I would say he is probably not qualified fully.
I'm
I don't
less
know.
worried about the qualification.
Just the scope of what he's going to be
Sure.
is massive.
But what are the qualifications?
Yeah, no,
You know?
I totally agree.
So here's my
I think
thing.
he'll do a fantastic job. Don't get me wrong. But
He's and I'm less worried about the qualifications. He is a morally flawed human, probably more so than I would like to see in that position. But he's a war fighter, and he understands what's going wrong in our military. And listen, I've been in almost 22 years. There's a lot going wrong in our military. So I believe he's the right pick, as much as I hate his moral
that's why
failings.
I like him, because he's experienced it from bottom to almost
Yeah.
top. I don't even know what
he retired as a major, so he's like a middling officer.
Right.
But he's seen enough. Like, one, he knows what it's like to pull the trigger in anger and to have rounds come back at him. And two, he sees what it's like to have, like, I don't care where you fall on it. The whole DEI woke crap in the military, there's no place for it. It makes us less lethal. You know, I don't know why it's a controversial state to say women don't belong in combat. There's about 1 out of every 10,000 that can do it. You know, the Marines, bless their hearts, they actually held the line on it, and they had all the stats. And they said, we did integrated units, we did women-only units, and we did men-only units, and we had all these war games. And they found that integrated units and women-only units and combat units, their best 10% were the bottom 10% of men.
The entire group.
So in combat units, the Marines said those bottom 10% of combat troops are the people we try to get rid of every 2 years. And the women in combat units, their best 10% were the bottom 10%.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just, we're different.
Yeah.
And, there is a role for them in the military. It's not in combat.
That was actual.
That's actual stats,
study.
hard stats. General Mattis, who became SecDef, who is a dirty leftist globalist, he was one said it doesn't work. It makes us less lethal. You know? So I don't know why that's controversial.
Yeah. I think it's chivalrous too.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, we're a Western civilization.
Why would I
we don't
put my
send our women to war.
Why would I put my jacket out so you don't have to step in a puddle if I'm going to send you to war?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the old school way of thinking, I guess, right?
Well, some of the old school way of thinking needs to come back. We don't send our women off to fight wars, you know?
Yeah.
Now, me personally, if you can, I'm 250 pounds, plus my battle rattle adds another 50.
Yeah.
If you can throw my 300-pound self over your shoulder and drag me out of a building, then fine. Okay, I don't really care. But about 1 out of every 10,000 women can do that. You know?
Yeah, I probably couldn't.
Oh,
Not gonna lie.
Right. You know?
Couldn't do it right now.
Right. I mean, it's a difficult thing.
That's us right there.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Where-
Sorry, I'm watching Kill Tony's New Year's Eve special just dropped today, and I saw us in the crowd.
That's awesome.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Was Rogan there?
No, he wasn't. He was there the night before.
Of course.
We kind of got the almost like he put a disclaimer out, like
this
you're
is-
not going to be really excited about these guests, basically. Anybody who was somebody, I think Shane Gillis was sick.
And they all had probably New Year's Eve
And,
plans.
and a lot of
stuff.
people, he was like, because the show's so successful, everybody's booked tonight.
Yeah.
Like even guests that we normally, go to for this and that.
Wow.
Otherwise, he said a few people were sick too. But who was on it? James McCann, I think. He was a Australian guy, super funny. Looks just like the alligator guy.
The crocodile
Hunter, yeah.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah. And Joe DeRosa, if
Yeah.
you know him. He's
Yeah.
really funny. Not like your A-list
Sure.
guest, but I mean,
Do they ever have Hans on there anymore?
he was on there.
Really?
Yeah, Hans, Kim,
He's
Cam,
kinda fallen off a little bit.
Casey, Rocket, the Undertaker was there.
Yeah. Cam's funny.
Andrew Dice Clay, which was freaking cool. Just to I know he's worn out and
Yeah.
whatever you think about Dice Clay, but he did his little nursery rhymes.
Yeah, that's
That was
cool.
pretty neat. Just to see him, that was freaking cool, dude. 3 hours long.
Cam Patterson's funny, man. Cracks me up.
Yeah.
His jokes are a lot more cerebral than they appear.
I think he's really good.
Yeah.
I like his character, and I like his just bringing, like Tony will say it, bringing like recent stories and recent experiences and talking about them,
Right.
making them funny. Yeah, dude, Cam Patterson is hilarious. We just watched a little Martin Phillips.
We did.
Funny dude.
He is funny.
You know
Sounds
who
like
Who I
RFK.
love that I wish was on there was Jim Norton.
Oh yeah, he's funny. He's
He-
still funny.
The more I see him, he's on Gutfeld
Yeah.
consistently,
Yeah.
and he is just a funny dude.
He was-
I love that he's on that show.
When I was listening to Live 105.3 back in the day, when Opie and Anthony were on in the mornings,
Yeah.
and he was on there, he
Yeah.
was a conservative voice then.
Was he?
Yeah, like not like Uber, but you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
he's one of us,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Except for his interest in the LGBT community.
he is
Emphasis on
married.
the
Well, he's
T's.
married to a trans.
Yeah,
And a lot of his comedy, if you listen to it, you'll probably understand
Yeah.
why.
yeah,
But he's a funny dude.
he is funny.
Probably one of my. I was hoping he'd be on the show. One of my probably top 5, I'd say. Top
Yeah.
5. I don't know. It's hard to list
Who's your top 5 right now? Do you think?
right now.
If
I'm not so much. I found a dude the other day, very Mitch like. Oh man, I have to take a minute to remember his name.
Have I showed you the guy on TikTok that's jokes that would be better if Mitch Hedberg said them?
No.
And he does it like Mitch. He writes the jokes and does it as if he were Mitch, and he is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
You may
His
have
jokes
sent
are
that
hilarious, and they're very Mitch
to
like.
me. Yes, you did. What was that guy's name? Very good Mitch delivery. More of a storyteller, but
Yeah.
really funny.
I still find Dave Chappelle hilarious. He's
Yeah.
like the GOAT, man. He's really good. You know, he's Carlin-esque for me.
He
like,
is really good.
I mean, obviously different styles of comedy than Carlin, but up there with just his intellect and his ability to.
Craig Conant.
Okay, Craig.
Conant. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
It might take me a minute because I'm plugged up to the computer, but I can probably.
So my top 5 though, in no particular order. I like Chappelle.
Yep.
I like Carlin.
Yep.
Kinnison, most of it.
Yeah.
Especially early Kinnison. And then I'm a big Shane Gillis fan, man. I think he's
Yeah.
going to be one of the next GOATs.
Yeah, he's good.
And then Eddie Murphy. Hilarious. Eddie Murphy
Yeah.
Live and Eddie Murphy Raw or whatever is just, you know.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic comedy.
Yeah.
I'm on Roadcaster here.
You know who I haven't seen much of lately, and I'm happy about it?
Who's that?
Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I heard that there's like some beef, like with the Rogan crew and stuff. Like
Ooh.
he's kind of been ostracized because he's no longer on like the Protect Our Parks, and
Oh, you're right.
because it went from they stopped doing Sober
It's
October.
funny. That's when I started listening.
Really, well, you know, they stopped doing Sober October, and went to Protect Our Parks, and he was on the first couple of Protect Our Parks, but he's not on it anymore.
Okay. They've all got a lot of stuff to do too.
They do,
I'm
and
assuming.
like, you know, I don't want to. You get in talking about like some beef, it starts sounding like Taylor Swift and so. So I don't really know or care, but
Right.
he wears me out.
Water boy over here laugh. I remember the last dumpster I ever dove in.
Oh yeah, I know
went
this
dumpster
dude.
diving with my first best friend, Jose Abrego. He's a good man. He makes
Long haired,
movies.
kind of Mexican guy.
I'll tell you one after you spit that out, pussy boy.
Someone gave me an ounce. I was like, dude, I fly home. I can't. First 3 days there, I see a lot of homeless dudes. Then I got an ounce of weed and I want to give it to a homeless man. No homeless man in sight. At this crosswalk, I see this homeless dude with a cardboard sign, but he's young and he looks tweaked out. Where I go, yes, I'll give it to him. And as I get closer, I'm like, oh no. I don't want to talk to him. He's bugged out. You know, I don't want to hand him a good thing and get stabbed. And then I see another one over here. He looks like the Gordon Fisherman. He really did. He had a little Popeye. I was like, you smoke weed? He goes, yeah. I go, there's an ounce in here. And he went, oh my God, thank you. And he just was very happy. I've given drugs to the homeless so many times. And they judge me and think that's wrong.
It sounds
but they're
just
all
like
on-
Mitch,
It
but not,
does.
obviously not as the style.
He
More of a storyteller, like I said.
he has a story about he and his friends were at a party, and they had all taken mushrooms, but his friend whose car they were in got really drunk, and they were driving, and cops pulled him over, and they were like, well, you got to drive home. And he said the cops were being really cool, and he said, but I didn't know how to drive a Standard,
Oh,
and I
no.
was on mushrooms.
Oh no.
And they made it home, but it was a great story, you know.
Needing to do
Yeah.
gearbox.
That dude's funny.
He is.
I like.
I don't know how I missed him. Somebody I just found out about him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he kind of blew up in the last few months. I've been seeing him on TikTok a lot. So
Yeah.
speaking of TikTok, it got banned and
Sure did.
for 12
That was
hours.
a big deal.
It was
For
a big
12
deal.
hours, it took
Yeah.
over the social media.
I've got a conspiracy about
What
it.
you got?
The algorithms changed since it came back.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff. So what I loved about TikTok was I had built my algorithm brick by brick, dude.
Yeah.
And so I got a lot of comedy, a lot of cooking, some like military, mil talk stuff, and conspiracy talk.
Okay.
Don't see
Nothing?
the conspiracy anymore.
Ooh.
It's gone. None of the LA
Interesting.
fires, none of the drones, none of the all
Huh.
that stuff. All that's gone.
So why is that?
I don't know. It's like they took it offline, fixed the algorithm, and then put it back. And it's like, don't talk about this stuff
Yeah.
because it's really weird, man. I was talking to Jake about it. It was like it has a different feel now, and now you can connect your Meta account,
Yeah.
which is weird,
Right.
Because the day before it was banned, Facebook started an official TikTok, and then they banned it. All the while, Tom Cotton and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all them invested in Meta,
Oh, God.
like $50,000.
I was just going to say jokingly invested, and sure
No, they
enough, you
did.
said,
Yeah, they did.
oh, man. Where
Get
are
mad
the
about
where are
Trump
the
and his meme
gallows?
coin.
Where are the gallows?
I know, dude. I know it.
Direct us to the gallows.
I keep hearing. Speaking of, I keep hearing that Trump is going to do an EO to put income taxes on a hiatus. Like we don't have to pay income
Okay.
tax for a while.
Well, let's talk about the External Revenue Service.
Like it. I like it. Yeah.
What a good idea. Oh, so they're not going after us.
No. It's all the ways that we are getting messed over outside of this country. So it'll be the people responsible for collecting the tariffs.
So if you ran a business, it'd be like accounts receivable.
Yeah, exactly. And
How long? Why did it take this long?
well, lots of kickbacks to government officials. We have a very we joke about like Mexican politicians being corrupt. We're just as corrupt.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
more civilized about it.
Civilized, yeah.
you know?
Yep. Yeah, I probably brought it up that Mexico is a arguable libertarian experiment.
Sort of.
It's about as close as you're going to get, maybe.
I don't know. The best Dave Smith, also a good comic, to be honest.
Yeah.
Dave Smith does a really good. He the best libertarian example of a country is the United States post Reconstruction to 1911. Like in that time, the debt to GDP was like less than 1%.
Mm-hmm.
There was no government spending. There was very little taxation, and it built this great country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was. It's a good argument. You should look that up.
Yeah.
So,
You been anywhere? Traveled anywhere? You going anywhere?
went to Hawaii in November.
That's right. Yeah.
Came back sick as
Aloha.
hell. Yeah, thank you.
Did you get laid?
mahalo? I did not.
You didn't get
I
that?
did
Not like
not.
off the plane or nothing?
No, kind
The
of
heck?
upset me a little
This
bit.
is like, were you on a C-130 or like
no,
a
American Airlines.
Southwest Airlines, American Airlines?
American. But I did upgrade to first coming back, and I had the lie flat seats.
Cool.
That was
That's
good.
good, yeah.
Well, it was good because I was walking down the jetway.
Dreamliner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was walking down the jetway, and I got a fever chill.
A little early.
And I was like, oh, yeah. No, I showed up because at first class you get Admiral's Club and all
Yeah.
that. So I showed up, and I put a hurting on the
I believe I was texting you saying, how far can you go?
Yeah.
Like, how much can you drink on
well,
your first class experience?
I could have bankrupted them.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was walking down the jetway to get on the plane, and I got a fever chill. And I was like, oh no. And so I got on the plane, and of course I'm not going to miss my free meal and stuff. So I think I had 3 alcoholic beverages and my meal and dessert, and then I slept 7 hours.
Good.
And I woke up with 103 fever.
Cool.
Yeah. And I had 103 fever for 16 days.
Jeez.
Yeah.
16?
Two ER trips.
Man.
They didn't know what was wrong with me. I was like,
Wow.
I'm patient 0 for a new tropical disease.
Wow.
They did all the tests. They were like, we have no idea.
Did you visit anywhere strange in Hawaii?
No, I was at the Hilton Hawaiian Village there in Honolulu. And you know what's crazy?
Seems like a nice place.
So I had never been to I've never been to Hawaii. And I was there for a work trip, and we were at Joint Base Hickam Pearl Harbor. And headquarters, Pacific Air Force headquarters, is in the old barracks on Pearl Harbor. And they still have the bullet holes from when they left them. Like, so now it's a headquarters building. It's no longer the barracks. But in the courtyard, they have it's called the Hall of Heroes or the Courtyard of Heroes, and there's just bullet holes everywhere. Wow. It's wild, dude.
Wow.
It's pretty cool to be there. A lot of history.
Yeah.
Hawaii's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm a mountain guy, and I was even telling Jake on the way, I was like, man, I like the beach, but I'm a mountain guy. And then I got to Hawaii, and I was like, I can do the beach.
They have both.
Yeah, they do.
Both.
You could ski there.
Yeah.
On the Big Island.
Yeah, they get snow every once in a while.
Yeah.
Pretty wild place.
It was, matter of fact, I wanted to, while I was there, to try to go to that observatory.
Yeah.
And it was a whole thing.
Supposed to be the best in the world.
Yeah, but it was blocked off because they had gotten too much snow.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of
Well,
crazy.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard Rogan talk about that. It makes perfect sense out in the middle of the Pacific and darkness.
And at like 9,000 feet.
And up in the air.
It's crazy, man. I'd like to do it. I'd like to go back and not work as much as I did.
Yeah.
The water was a little colder than I expected.
Yeah.
Like,
is all the Pacific cold?
I guess. I mean, it wasn't as cold as like San Diego.
What time of year?
I was there in November.
Yeah.
But like like got back from my first day of work, went and changed into my swim trunks, grabbed a beer, walked out, and just kind of walked into the water and was like, oh, like, oh,
Yeah.
I was
That's
not
the disappointing
expecting
part
that.
about like L.A.
Oh, dude,
it's freaking cold.
I lived in California for 6 months, and I never went more than
Beautiful
like, knee deep.
and not really weather you'd get in the water.
No, the
Just
weather's
look at
great.
it. Weather's fantastic.
But the water is so cold.
Yeah.
It's like the Guadalupe.
Yeah.
You're just like, ugh. But, man, I'll tell you, speaking of California.
Let's say, hell, they got hit hard.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, to go back to the political thing for just a little bit, if I were Republicans in California, I would be organizing right now. Because if there's ever a time for them to shift right, it's right now. So
I think our president is on the way there right now.
Yeah.
Probably landed.
Probably.
In talking.
Probably
to Gavin.
To old Gavin. Hair gel Gavin.
And Mayor Bass.
Oh, man. Ugh.
They didn't handle that well either.
They didn't.
They didn't. I mean, you could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, when you got Bill
crisis after crisis, it doesn't get better.
When you got Bill Maher out there, lefty of lefties, going, well, at least our fire chief's a lesbian.
Right. Right.
It was like, can a lesbian do the job? Absolutely. Can that one? Maybe not. I don't understand, man. Everybody's focused on diversity, equity, inclusion, and that might be great in HR, but it's not great in like the military, fire service, or police. Just doesn't work. I don't know, man. But California is like heaven on earth.
Yeah.
Like it's the best state we have as far as like
diversity.
Well, and
I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about just diversity.
You want to snowboard? Snowboard. You want to go to the beach? Go to the beach. You want desert? I mean, it's just gorgeous out there.
Very precious ecosystems.
Oh man, and the history, and I love California, but they just ruined it out there, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back to 2011 California. It was great then.
Is that when you were there?
Yeah.
Y'all were there.
January to July, I guess. Yeah. Yeah,
I
6 or 7 months.
We've been there. We were there in 2020.
I was there in 2019, and I was not impressed.
Cool. We were disgusted.
Yeah, because San Francisco, liberal hellhole that it is, was my favorite city.
Yeah.
I was like, I love San
Still
Francisco.
is. I love that city.
But
not with homeless people everywhere.
2011,
man,
it was, it was noticeable. And I was like, ugh, but this is a great city. I went back in 2019 with a buddy. He was running the North Face 50 miler, and we went out there. And I was going to crew for him and kind of be a part of his support crew, and the fires were bad, so they canceled and we were like, well, we're here for 5 days, so we just partied.
Cool.
And it was awesome, but it was noticeably dicier.
Yeah.
And even the nice parts, like
you said
2019, we were accosted by homeless people, like not assaulted, but like I'm about to fight this homeless dude, you know, stepping over poop, all the stereotypes we encountered.
Yeah.
Such a great part of the country, though.
Oh, that city is awesome.
Yeah, and it's so
beautiful.
close to like Napa.
Good vibe.
Yeah.
Typically good weather.
Yeah.
Food's fantastic.
You
got Chinatown. You got just the seafood. You got, oh my God.
I'm a fan of like light hoodie weather.
Yeah.
Where it's like not cold, but you need a hoodie. And that is San Francisco.
Yeah.
About 5 o'clock in the afternoon, put your hoodie on,
Yep.
and walk the streets. I love it. But anyway, you talked about seafood. Have you ever had cioppino?
Oh yeah.
Disappointed every time.
Yeah.
I love the idea of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to like this.
Yeah, I bought a funny story. My wife and I went to San Francisco as one of our first trips, and I got a seafood cocktail.
Yeah.
I was like, "Give me everything." And it was like octopus and like just
Just
nitty,
get it.
like the innards of the. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, "It's good."
Yeah. You got to commit.
She was like, "Oh, you really like that, huh?" Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of it I was like, "Nah." Some of it was fantastic.
Oh,
don't get me
yeah.
wrong, but
Well, I
maybe
went
bit off more
to
than I could chew.
I went to the Cioppino place that Anthony Bourdain went to. Right?
Which one?
It was on the Fisherman's Wharf, kind of out there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dad told me to go to one that
It
as
was
a,
like a
as a
nicer
pilot,
place.
I trust his
This was like a nicer place, like
Isabella and Tori, I believe is what it was called.
that may have been
Sabella.
because it's
Tori.
obviously an Italian place,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, I remember like taking my hat off, like when I walked in, like it was, I didn't have to like go put a sport coat on, but I was
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, this is a little bit nicer, and it was the place to go for Cioppino, and I was like so excited, and I had it, and I was like,
Did you get the bread bowl?
I did, yeah,
I mean, that's
that's the best
probably
part
the
of
best
it.
part, yeah. Yeah, I got Cioppino at Tadich. Have we talked about Tadich?
Mm-mm.
One of the coolest spots you will
Really?
ever have lunch, quite possibly in your life.
Really?
Super cool. Oldest restaurant in San Francisco.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tadich Grill. It's all hardwood, like little booths.
Yeah.
Full. You're in a little booth by
Yeah.
yourself, just like
Compartmentalized.
super cool, old school San Francisco seafood lunch place.
So now
known,
that you're
known
saying
for the
it,
lunches, I believe.
I'll have to check with Ashley. Ashley and I may have gone there back in 2011.
I have a feeling I told you to go there. No, 2011 I wouldn't have told you because I didn't know about it then.
I'm gonna go back and look through my pictures. I bet we have a picture
We've been there
there.
twice, and it's every time. I did have Cioppino there, and it's not my dish. We'll say no disrespect to Tadich because I've had a
I
couple
like
of their
all the individual components.
exactly yes.
I'm just like, why does
It
this
just
not?
doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's not what you expect
No.
somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would ditch the Cioppino and go for the seafood cocktail
Sure.
every time.
So you said Tadich. Did you know Dallas now has its first Michelin-rated restaurant?
I saw that.
It's called
yes.
Tatsu Dallas.
Okay.
It's a sushi
Yep.
place. $185 a person.
Okay.
No tipping. Like everything's included.
185 a person.
Yeah, $185 a person,
Not
but
bad.
it's omakase, right? So they just bring it.
Yeah.
And like you just get what you get.
Yeah.
I put a reservation. Of course, they're booked out, like whatever. So I put a reservation for the end of February, and I'm waiting to hear back
Cool.
to see
For 4.
for two. But
For
we
two,
could,
okay.
yeah, we can get a fourth.
Oh,
yeah.
for you and me, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice.
right. Yeah,
Sure.
No, but Tatsu, I'm excited about that. But
I think I follow them.
yeah, the
Sounds familiar.
so they got a Michelin star, but if you look at the Michelin honorable mentions, there is a whole host of stuff that I'm like, oh, I want to try that.
In Dallas.
Yeah, DFW. Yeah.
Harvest got one.
Yep. They
believe
did. They
Rye-
did. Rye got
Rye
one
got
for
one.
cocktails.
Yep. I was following them. I was
Yeah.
very proud of them for
Yeah.
doing what they do.
Yeah.
I've probably bragged on here on Rye, I'm sure, a few times.
Oh, dude.
Rye Dallas is one of the best.
You and
Used to be in
Tiffany
McKinney.
and I and
Yeah,
Kevin
we all went there one
for my
night.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
that's right.
awesome.
That was a 13-course meal that
We
we couldn't
did.
get through 12.
Well,
I think we might have called like through the
I also drank a gazillion cocktails.
yeah.
So y'all might have hauled me out of there. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I think we tried to finish every plate, and that was our problem.
You know what's funny is Tiffany and I stayed at the Fairmont.
Yeah.
And so we went back to the Fairmont, went to bed. We got up. We got up the next morning, like slept in a little bit. We're like, let's go get some lunch. And there was this cool like Irish pub or something. We walked to from the Fairmont, and had a couple beers and had lunch. We came back to the hotel, and we were like, let's take a nap. And it was like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
We laid down. I woke up. It was 7 p.m.
Nice.
Yeah.
You thought it was the next day.
I know. I was like, what happened? So
We
like,
need to get another day.
I know. So
Another
we
night.
were like, we Uber Eats to our hotel. We didn't even go downstairs. We just got like DoorDash, and ate like pho or something and went back to sleep.
Nice.
That's how much my birthday night just destroyed me. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
All right. You want me to tell you some of the restaurants that are Michelin rated?
Yes.
Because there is a difference between Michelin rated and Michelin recommended.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Well, I mean, there's the 1, 2, 3 in stars, and then there's just Michelin recommended.
Right. So we've got Monarch.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Monarch?
That's
My wife wants to go there really bad.
downtown Dallas, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. The Monarch Cafe.
I don't think it's cafe. Monarch.
Oh no.
Does that look familiar?
Yeah, no.
No, that's not mine.
That's not the
I
cafe
mean, it's
I
Michelin.
went to.
I don't think you're
Yeah.
going to a Michelin cafe.
Well, it's so the Monarch. I think it was called the Monarch Cafe. It's downtown. It's near where they did the Greenbelt thing across 360 Spur or whatever. You know.
Clyde Warren.
Yeah, Clybourne.
Yeah.
And
It's not on top of there. That glass building.
is that where it's at? Then
I
maybe
don't know.
did
No,
go.
I don't know. I'm
No,
asking you.
this is street level near Clybourne.
Okay.
It was called Monarch, but it didn't look like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it was like nice though.
Got a place called Crown Block. I'm not familiar with that. Looks really good. Very colorful.
It is.
Little T-bone steak. T-bone roast, quite possibly. T-an, T-E-I-An, Japanese. Fearings. Fearings is a favorite chef. Dean Fearing? Is that right?
I'm not familiar.
You don't know Fearings?
He's
He's like I think he's like one of Dallas's beloved.
okay.
Yeah, the Ritz.
Mm.
Yeah, Chef Dean Fearing. Yeah, he's like one of the Dallas mega
Like
chefs.
Tim Love and all that.
Mercat Bistro, Stillwell's, Tatsu.
There's Tatsu Dallas.
Tatsu Dallas,
That
Japanese.
is-
That's what you were talking about earlier.
Yep.
That looks good. Just 10 counter seats. The greatest challenge is securing a reservation at this sushi restaurant within the renovated Continental Gin building.
Yeah, ask me how I know. They emailed me back though, like the guy.
Yeah, I just followed a place from Rogan's suggestion not long ago that was an Asian place in Austin that looked freaking good. I kind of forget what he. It was very similar to Tatsu, that sort of style of food and that
Sure.
sort of sound. But anywho,
I went down to I told you about it, right? I was down in South Oak Cliff, but on the west side of 35.
Gemma.
Yeah, and there was this it was like Mexican food and Central American, like so not like Tex-Mex.
Okay.
And it was a little bit higher quality and I mean like I was in shorts and a backwards hat, so it wasn't like it wasn't dressy, but
Yeah.
it was elevated cuisine. It was really cool, man. It was really good.
Frat boy casual.
Yeah, frat boy casual. Yeah, sure.
Cool. That's my style.
Yeah, I like it.
My style is frat boy casual or John Fetterman.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but he's still my style.
So John Fetterman wears exclusively a hoodie.
Yeah.
He has been called out upon it all the time. He talks about it. People are like, "You're disrespecting." Oh no, it's not that big a deal. Blah blah blah. When Israel came on a state visit, he put a suit on.
Interesting. He did it for a president once too.
He did it for Benjamin Netanyahu when he came over,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Who owns you then?" When your
Mm,
boss comes to town, APAC
interesting.
does. Wonder how much
I
APAC
think he
is
did
given
it
to
for
him.
a president too. I remember it because I was aware of his dressing situation, and then he actually dressed up for something, and I forget what it was. I don't think it was Benjamin Netanyahu,
Did you see?
but I don't. He did.
Did you see him at the inauguration?
No.
Yeah, in a hoodie and shorts.
Was it really?
Yeah, and like, if I'm being honest, there's a part of me that's kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
like okay, but like if I were Trump, I'd be like, hey, we have a dress code at the White House, so if you don't dress,
And that's fair.
yeah,
Part of
like-
me likes his style because it's a Dennis Rodman.
yeah,
in my
it's
book,
a it's
and
a power play.
and I'm very much be
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I mean, do we have to have a suit and tie?
Yeah.
Does it show respect? Yeah, it does.
Right.
You know what?
As
what
you
we, what we
insider
wear.
trade
As you,
and rape
as
children.
you rip off public,
Yeah.
citizens and things.
Yeah. But I'd be like, oh, okay, so that's what you're gonna do? Well, we're instituting a dress code.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you
And
can't
that's fair
come here,
too. You know, like I said, it does show a degree of respect, and I don't know. We're not elected, are we?
No.
Stock and Barrel, you know that place?
I've heard of it. I'm
Heard
not
it's
super
good, too.
familiar.
Gemma, my wife wants to go to. I know. Yeah, we got Rye right there.
That place is legit, man.
They are so good. I'm telling you.
I still never had that.
Located in Dallas's Lower Greenville district, Rise sports a sexy, cozy vibe with wood plank floors, beamed ceilings, and exposed red brick walls.
I've still never had the forest floor thing.
Oh, that was so good.
I don't think it's ever came
their
back.
description. Let me see if I can find it because the description was so cool. If you view eating as an experience and like a
yeah,
a
I
weird,
do.
and this is an experience. This place is fantastic.
So to just while you look that up,
the crescendo plate, in my opinion.
sure. While you look that up, I'll say this. I've recently I've always kind of liked to cook, but I've kind of gotten into it now, you know, and I even take some time to like plate my food nicely.
Cool.
Because they say you eat with your eyes first,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
So I'm a big fan. I would like to actually take some lessons on how to plate food, but you know how you always get that really cool like I'm such an idiot, but you go to Papa Do's and you get the little like ball of rice. Yeah, they just put it in a ramekin and then dump the ramekin over.
Yeah, it's just packed with a hand.
Yeah.
Like
I was like, oh wow,
some illegal immigrant.
it's just
not
packing
to
it in there.
Not to sound terrible,
Yeah.
but
Now I'm gonna have to pack my own rice. Thanks a lot, Trump.
so I think that's a picture of the forest floor.
Oh gosh.
You've got a yellow, flowery
Chicken of the woods
option, which looks like a mushroom.
It
if
is.
I'm not mistaken.
That's chicken of the woods.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't pay attention to that.
No.
But you got a frothy, kind of, what do you call that?
It's like a whipped, like
Moss is what
Yeah.
they call it for the forest floor.
nice, but it looks like it's came out of like a
Yep.
paste tube.
I think this is kind of a quinoa,
Okay.
something or other.
Sounds vegan.
I know there
Okay.
is quinoa involved in it.
Sure.
Criminy mushrooms, if I'm not mistaken.
I
I'm
love
I'm
mushrooms.
probably butchering the
Sorry.
components of this plate, but the forest floor is one of the coolest plates that I've seen.
It looks amazing.
Interesting stuff. They had Apothecary, their next door place.
Yeah.
Had a menu based on Alice in Wonderland in comic book form.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Man, you got to give
That's
it to creative people that can bring
create
art.
That's
and,
why they're on the Michelin
Yeah.
list, because they're doing cool stuff like that.
yeah, when you can combine like art and culinary stuff,
Pretty neat.
that's pretty
And
cool,
and
man.
it not just plates but drinks too.
Yeah, I wish I could do stuff.
You're coming
like
up
that.
with different ways of making a part of a drink. Fires involved,
Yeah.
in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Whitening, is it whitening? What do they call that? Washed liquors.
Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with that process?
Yes.
I don't know how they do it,
I don't either.
but they tell me all the time. This is a blah 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 washed bourbon,
Yeah.
and it's got a maple flavor to it or something.
I
They're
really
pro.
appreciate the art behind it. I like to write, and sometimes I get all like motivated, and I go write like a couple of pages, and
Yep.
it's good, and then I need a nap.
Yeah.
It never goes anywhere.
Exhausted.
And these people are doing just amazing stuff like this.
And also, not to, I got to mention their brisket tacos,
Yeah,
which
look
are
at them
some
pickled
of, some of
onions,
the
bruh.
some of the best tacos I've ever had. Still
That
number
is-
one on my list.
So
I think Tups. I think you can still get these at Tups in McKinney.
so
at
those
their
are
trailer.
homemade tortillas, brisket, microgreens, and
Yes.
pickled red onions. That's amazing.
Yes, they've also got a kind of a chimichurri green sauce, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, something like that. And then chicharrones. Yeah, just a few chicharrones to top it off. So like you
Dude.
get crunch, you get sweet, sour, savory, all of it.
Okay, what's your like? I don't know.
I sound like Guy Fieri over here.
I know, but
Sorry.
taking me to Flavor Town.
Flavor Town, boy.
What's we've probably talked about this. I can almost guarantee we have. What's your death row electric chair meal? Just meal.
I've always said crawfish. Just
fair.
endless crawfish
That would be
because
my
it
oldest
extends
son's.
my time.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. I can eat
And I
it
can kind of
indefinitely.
I can control my destiny.
Yeah.
You know?
So I always say like New York strip, medium rare,
Yeah.
baked potato, whatever.
Default
salad.
would be steak potato.
What's your
corn.
favorite type of food? Cuisine, if you will.
That's gonna have to probably be a Cajun seafood mashup.
Same.
Uh,
And it's contested with Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Like Tex-Mex is right there. I probably default to Cajun.
Tex-Mex is good, but Tex-Mex to me is basic. Not in a bad way.
That offends me.
I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's very basic.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the flavors of Tex-Mex food, which
Yeah.
are great,
Sure.
spicy and
Well, there is the
smoky,
joke, right?
and,
Like,
and peppers and
what's a taco? Well, it's meat in a
it's meat,
tortilla
cheese, and
with,
vegetables.
Yeah, and a
it's
lime.
a tortilla.
And it's like, well, what's a chalupa? Well, it's a fried tortilla
It's
with
a
meat,
tortilla, meat, cheese, and
Yeah.
vegetables.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff all over and over.
Yeah.
And most food is that, to be honest. I
Oh,
mean,
sure. Like,
most
really.
most food is a bread, a protein, and a. I
Yeah.
mean, boil it down.
I mean,
that's what it
Cajun
is.
even, right? The
Yeah,
Trinity and the
same
roux.
thing. You got
and-
rice.
yeah.
You got a white
So-
sauce or red sauce, Italian. You know.
In the last 2 weeks, I've made crawfish etouffee,
Yeah, that
uh,
look good.
red beans and rice,
Yep, look good.
gumbo, and it's all basically the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? like-
The flavors are just more exciting. I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's something about the flavors.
I get it.
I can't.
Hey, man, I'm right there with you. I think Tex-Mex. I would be interested to take you to the Valley.
Yeah.
Because it opened my mind. So I always said Cajun. That's my favorite food. And then in the Valley, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
Mexican food's up more
You're,
down here.
you're talking more like your ceviches and things like
yeah,
that.
ceviches and just even like
Because
your
see, then I mean, even then you bring seafood into it. I'm super
Yeah.
open to it because I like a good seafood. anything.
absolutely. But even like your standard like enchiladas, rice and beans down there were just different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Seafood's like a million different things.
it really is.
You know, there's a ton of fish. Then you got
yeah.
crustaceans.
Crustaceans. Yeah.
I mean,
Is
if
it-
you're eating meat, it's basically chicken, pork, or steak.
Yeah.
Fine, I
Yeah.
can get those anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you
But
have
you can only get really good seafood
how do you
in the right spots.
feel about like lamb?
Love it.
I do too.
Yeah, had
too.
it recently.
How do you feel about goat?
I had that. Dude, we went to Taste of India. Met Brad Crabb there a
Really?
couple days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
How's Brad doing?
He's doing good. He came here today, matter of fact.
Should have had him on
out
the
of,
podcast.
Out of the blue. Just showed up outside, parked next to me. I was like, who are you parking there? And turned out to be Brad Crabb.
Oh, you're like,
I was
okay, you're good.
I was like, you look like Alex Jones, sir.
That's
He kind of
was
looks like Alex,
really?
Alex Jones in a good way.
Yeah.
Like
Like he's
like
rich.
clean and sober Alex Jones.
not coked out.
Not coked out on the booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
We had a
man.
good time at
Did you like goat?
Taste of India. Oh yeah, of course.
I don't know,
I've
man.
had it there a couple times.
I'm a little.
They did away with their buffet, by the way.
Really.
Yeah, it's coming back supposedly next month.
Oh.
A little disappointed about that, but it was still good nonetheless.
I need to. I do like Indian food though. Like
Yeah.
I was talking about Cajun and Tex-Mex. I do like Indian food. I haven't delved into a lot of it. I've had your butter chicken, chicken tikka masala, chicken curry, fall stuff like that. But
I mean, it's
love
all
food.
pretty.
Yeah.
You have any Indian dish,
Yeah.
you're exposed.
Kind of like having Tex-Mex or Cajun.
You're exposed to it.
Yeah. I love it, man.
I was on Michelin star restaurants. So I think there was one more I wanted to get to. Let's see here. We talked about Fearings and Tatsu and Gemma and Rye. Mothe Ba.
Not familiar.
Yeah, it's a fusion restaurant. And look at that. That looks pretty.
We had a podcast agreed to, not scheduled, with South Dallas Foodie
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah.
I need to reach back out to her. We should just start hitting some of these places up with her.
Ah, absolutely.
That'd
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
A Michelin prize as well.
I did not. I
They-
knew that Rye did.
Yeah, they did. Right down the road in McKinney, which is pretty freaking cool. 30 miles from here is a Michelin, probably recommended.
I wonder if Rick's ever been
Uh,
on that list. He should be, because Rick's is a good place.
Dude, I enjoy it. However, I only get the same thing
I
every
get-
time.
I get the elk.
Yes.
Or the Seafood Tower.
yeah.
Seafood Towers.
Yeah.
If you want to spend some money, the Seafood Tower is the way to go.
Dude, brunch
Yeah, Ashley and
is
the boys and I
awesome.
went to brunch there once, and it was really good.
Really good.
You know what's so? Listen to me, the Celt. I love the Celt. It is like that's my vibe. Their food's not very good. First of all, their chicken tikka masala is the worst thing I've ever had.
They may hear this.
I know. So fix it because I love your place. Best Irish whiskey selection in the United States outside of Ireland. Like amazing. The vibe is killer.
Yeah.
Your chicken tikka
Good,
masala.
It's good Celtic.
Yeah. Irish pub experience. They have traditions bands there all the time. It's amazing.
Yep.
Their full English fry up is a disgrace.
Oh no. It's funny because I will see, like sometimes Kevin and I will be going out to eat or something, and I'm just looking through menus of places we may go, and I'll be like, hey, let's go to the Celt. They've got that full English.
I say it's a disgrace.
I love a full English, but I don't want to be disappointed.
It's probably fine for me. Your heritage and your experience, it probably is not.
And I'm wanting it
for
for dinner too. So
we should go do it sometime.
Yeah.
Just do it. I get it.
Yeah, but she feels the same way. She's like,
yeah. I love the Celt, man, but their food's
it's
garbage.
a great vibe.
Yeah. So they need to fix that. But
man, I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Oh, dude.
But I'd say the same thing about the pub.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, they've we haven't been in a while, but it's gone up and down. We'll say that.
Yeah, I was there.
I used to work there.
I had a hell night there.
15 years ago.
I had a hell night a couple years ago, right after all my family drama went down. I had a date there, and then she decided to pick a fight.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I got involved because I had to, because she picked a fight with dudes.
Oh.
And like I was like, this is our first date.
Yeah.
You know, like I tried to tell him, I'm like, I don't even know this chick, guys. But that apparently that wasn't good enough. And there was like 3 of them. Yeah. So it involved the pub and the Celt.
Oh no.
And Nick, the manager of the Celt, was like, are you okay, bro? Why don't you just come back to the Celt? Like he like
took you under his
yeah. Anyway, so
good, like a good Irish pub
Oh
owner.
yeah. No, they called the cops on those dudes, good. And like I was just totally, I mean, a
little mortified. That's your home. That's your stomping grounds.
I think I was 39 at the time. I was like handled up pretty well for a 39-year-old against 3 25-year-olds. You know, God, it was awful.
McKinney Square, huh?
McKinney Square,
Irish pub. That's why
it was just
the fighting Irish.
I got home and I was like, my life's a disaster right now.
What is this? 2009?
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy, man. But I love the Celt. Just fix your food. That's all. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Harvest is great. Rick's is great. Obviously owned by the same person.
I love Harvest. We love Harvest. However,
I prefer Rick's.
They could. Yeah. Totally. They could do some work on their menu or update it or something.
I think
it's just not. I don't know. It's not challenging enough.
Well, so
Rick's got a little something for everybody.
Here's my opinion about Harvest. Harvest is like, when you have a friend who likes like mind altering substances and he tries to like make connections, like whether it's conspiracies or jokes or whatever, and you're like, you're high. That's kind of what their menu feels like. I'm like, I see what you're doing. It just doesn't quite work.
Quite accomplishing it.
Yeah. So their goose liver pate is not bad though.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest their beet salad.
Yeah. See,
it's fantastic.
If you're suggesting a salad though,
well, I'm kind of a sucker for goofy salads.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether they have beets or fruit, or like strawberries or something. Like if they're kind of goofy like that, I'll get it. I don't know why. I have a weird obsession with goofy salads.
Have you had the blue cheese fig salad?
Like when I worked at Sevy's down in Dallas.
Sevy's is a good place.
They had a 5-grain salad, like barley grain and like all these different. It was so good.
Yeah.
With like a chicken breast on top.
What was it I used to get when I come see you at Sevy's? They had like Wagyu skewers or something.
Skewers and burgers or sliders. Yeah,
sliders.
They were friggin' good.
Sliders were good. That's what I get.
Yeah, they had duck flautas that were pretty right on too.
Sevy's was a good place. It was a good vibe.
Yep.
Have you been lately?
No.
We should go.
I know. I keep telling my wife we got.
You still got any pool? We'll do the South Dallas foodie there.
Oh, we could totally do it there. Yeah, they
Maybe
got a putting green.
shoot
They'd
some
love to
stuff?
have us. Dude, they love to have us.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's meet her there because I
Tell
can reach
her,
out to her on
tell
Twitter.
her to go to Sevy's or tell us,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I'll set it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So the owner of Sevy's was worked with my uncle back in the 70s, 80s in the
Okay.
restaurant business.
So we'll need to. I think her name is South
That'd be
Dallas
fun.
Foodie,
That'd
but
be
I think
great.
she may live in McKinney now.
Okay.
So because I told her, I said before we do anything, let's all meet and kind of figure it out. Because I told her as far as like filming and stuff, it'll be our first rodeo.
Yeah.
So let's just get kind of a vibe,
Yeah.
and that'll be a friendly place to do it.
Absolutely. They've got a little putting green on their patio. You
Yeah.
can, I mean,
Yeah.
and nobody really uses it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but they've got like during lunch, we could have a lot of space to ourselves.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. One of the Dealies goes there.
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the regulars, which is I think cool.
Like
And
of Dealey Plaza?
yes,
Wow.
a direct descendant. Yeah, like him and his family would be there
Odd
every day.
timing you bringing that up with the
Well,
declassification of the
It is.
JFK
I mean, but he has
files.
nothing to do with it. He just happened to be I mean, I don't know that, but that name.
Are
was,
you sure?
But that name is associated
Oh,
and
yeah,
will
for sure.
forever be associated with JFK.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, like one of the Dealies he was in there every day. Chardonnay is what he drank. Him and his daughter would come in.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that that's a huge name in pop culture.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you know, I guess. But
Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but North Dallas, man. A
yeah,
lot of rich folk around there.
there is.
The Dealies and such. Super
There
nice
are,
guy,
I
by the
should
way.
say.
Super, super nice guy.
I said there is.
There are.
There are. That's
Yeah.
the most. I corrected. So I hate grammar Nazis on because a lot of times you're typing on an iPhone, it
Yeah,
miscorrects
yeah.
whatever. But on are you do you follow Fannin County Uncensored on Facebook?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's a good one, dude.
So
So
probably shouldn't.
no, you should. It's better than the litter page. It's some dude posted something about, well, it's day 5 and the price of eggs hadn't come down or whatever.
Yeah. I've seen that argument.
So I know.
Solid argument.
I guess So I commented about how you can't, turn the economy on a dime. Blah blah blah.
The previous administration tried price controls.
Yeah.
Right.
Like let's figure it out. So I commented on it, and this one person wrote a rant back, and there was not one punctuation mark in 500 words. It was all one run-on sentence,
Yeah.
right? And I said, I hate to be, and somebody commented, and I replied to the person that replied to that, and I said, listen, I'm not being a grammar Nazi here, but there's not 1 ounce of punctuation in that. So if he doesn't understand basic syntax and grammar and sentence structure,
I can't
he's
read
not going to understand the difference between Keynesian and Austrian economics.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're spitting in the wind here. And
Yeah.
they were like, that's a fair point.
I understand this next example is difficult because I get it. I'll even tard out on it sometimes. I'll
Sure.
be like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
Which way is it? Loose and lose.
Really? That one messes you up?
Doesn't mess me up. I know the difference.
Oh, yeah,
And when
okay.
I write it, I'm aware.
Oh, sure.
But come on, people.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
Come
Yeah,
on, people.
Yes. No.
I'm giving you a little bit of grace on this one. Is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I can see, because I've done it. And
What-
I've caught myself. But come on, people.
What-
Loose and lose.
What I have found is that X, formerly Twitter, have less grammar Nazis because there's no edit button. And sometimes it's just my iPhone.
I don't like the no edit button.
I hate
TikTok
it.
does it too, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't like
so
it.
you have to delete.
And they're
'cause-
terrible about autocorrect.
Oh, they
They're
are.
the worst. So
Well-
you get the first post I ever made, which coincidentally got 1.5 million views, has the absolute most embarrassing text you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that I was doing so poorly.
Yeah.
But TikTok let me.
Yeah.
I think that's the Chinese.
Well, maybe you
They're
should
making
try
me
it
look
again.
bad.
You should try it again.
I've done it. I'm
Yeah.
more particular now, but I like to go in and be able to edit, copy, and paste
Sure.
to cross post on different
Platforms.
platforms.
Yeah. Because you're a content creator now. I mean, we're on the podcast platform right now.
1.5 million views though is pretty good.
That's
That was my
pretty
first
good.
video.
That is good because
That's
I
what's
don't
at
know,
now.
I don't know how many. I have to go back and look at my
On
views.
TikToks.
I want to look at my views because
It's got 32,000 or so likes or something like that.
Let's see here.
My wife's like, "Why don't you get on TikTok?" I'm like, "I don't want to get on no TikTok."
It's my favorite. It is tied with X.
I don't. That's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know, it is obnoxious.
Yeah.
It is so obnoxious.
Dang, dude. Your first video did 1.5.
1.3, something
My
like that.
pseudo viral was 347K.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it took off like in the first month. I got like, I was probably texting you at the time, but
You were, yeah.
but yeah, I was going
You were
wild.
flexing on me because I was like, I had a 350,000.
To go back to my story, my wife's like, get TikToks. And I'm like, all right. She's like, that'll make you sell a bunch. And then I got TikToks, and it was like 1.5 million views and not that much sales.
Converted to 5
And then
sales.
it's like, TikTok's like, well, why don't you get a TikTok shop? And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, let's get a TikTok shop. That's got to increase the numbers. Oh, it doesn't increase the
Have
numbers
you
at
ever
all.
sold any on
Zero.
TikTok Shop?
Zero.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm outing myself like crazy right now, but
No,
I don't get it.
I
It's
tell
like,
you what it is. TikTok Shop. You want stuff sub $20 on TikTok Shop, and
that's kind of what I figured.
Yeah.
And I even put out a discount code on it with free shipping, like all
Yeah.
that stuff sort of advertised as
Yeah.
like hooks. And yeah, you want Chinese knockoff $20 stuff.
Yeah, I bought
get it.
I bought a book on there, and I bought 2 things on there, and they were both sub $20.
I've seen some
like,
cool stuff, but I'm not
yeah.
the type to buy that shit.
Yeah,
You know, I'm just not gonna.
yeah.
And like, I guess my customers don't. I don't know. Like, why not go to my website? That's why the website's there.
Well-
Why would you want to involve a Chinese company in the middle of somebody who's American based and selling
Exactly.
an American product? Like, just buy it direct.
Also,
You've already got the website. That's why I set up the TikTok to begin with.
despite what the last 4 years have told you, the economy is actually not great.
Right.
So
No, yeah, that's
that's-
what I've come to find out.
That's
I've
working
been
against
lied
you
to.
too. You have been
Come to find out, I've been lied to for 4 years.
in many ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 2 of those years were fantastic because everybody had free money.
yeah. Well,
You remember
thanks
that?
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember the free money?
Oh, I
everybody had?
do. I remember.
We just got a
you-
really awesome crash course in inflation. And
We did.
I mean,
We did.
that's the best lesson you could be taught
So here's my
at
one
whatever
hang-up.
age you're at.
Here's my one hang up for the Trump presidency. I believe a recession is coming, regardless of if he makes the right moves or wrong moves, because we've been doing bad things for too long. Even during his first term, right? He printed $6 trillion, like,
Yep.
and that has consequences,
Yep.
you know. And eventually, like in that Fannin County Uncensored thing, I said, listen, things may get a little more painful before they get better.
Yeah.
And I always liken it to, like, you know, when you lay off the gym,
Right.
and then you're like, I got to do something. You go to the gym.
back
The
to
first
it.
week
Hurts.
sucks. You know, the first couple weeks are terrible, and then you
Well,
kind of
look at Reagan's first 3.
not
That's
same.
probably what we're gonna see.
So
Hoping for different, but
well, we've got an X factor.
Yeah.
Crypto.
Yeah.
And I know the boomers are going to be like, it's fake, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? So's our dollar.
they're not listening right now.
That's true. That's fair. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and several other stable coins.
Yeah.
They're making some moves right now, and they have utility. It's not just make-believe. Bitcoin is increasingly being seen as a store of wealth like gold,
Yeah.
and not transactional. It's the oldest technology. It's not as up-to-date. XRP is being adopted wide scale. So are you familiar with Swift? What Swift is?
I've heard of it. I'm
So
not familiar.
Swift is the software that banks use to do cross-border
Yeah, yeah.
payments.
Yep.
So like when you
Yep.
buy a house and it funds, and it's like it'll fund in 24 hours.
Yep.
They use Swift to do
Yep.
that. XRP will fund in 0.24 seconds, right? It's all on the blockchain. It's on the ledger. It's smart
Guaranteed.
contracts, and it's instantaneous. And so
That's attractive.
and the government can't mess with it as much. And bad or good, Trump's like, hey, I'm more liberty minded there than like, I mean, he did the whole no central bank digital currency.
Yeah.
He's pro crypto. So we might default on our dollars, but we'll be the most pro crypto, country out there. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Crypto's wild.
It's weird,
crazy-
dude, and I
crazy
can
concept.
barely comprehend it.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Not good at it.
well, what do you think?
All right.
About it?
Yeah. Wrap her up.
If you stuck with us this long, we appreciate it. We know it's been a while. Hopefully, we're going to get out and do some content with the South Dallas Foodie.
Yeah.
And
Sevies.
we'll do Sevies. And yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, thanks everybody.
Check you later, dude.